these are good times to be an Indian football fan, isn't it? I mean, the India men's senior football team won the Intercontinental Cup. They had beaten a very high-ranked team to win the SAF Cup for a record ninth time. But now this kind of development is very, very perplexing if it is proven true. According to reports that are coming out in the media, the Indian football team might not make it to the Asian Games of 2023. For the second consecutive time, India's football team might potentially not make the trip to the Asian Games in Hangzhou this time. Remember, in 2018 in Jakarta, Palembang, the India men's football team did not make it to the Asian Games, and for the second consecutive edition, it seems as if this development might continue. Now, what is the reason that has been given for this? Because this is the statement that has been given. The IOA has refused to clear the Indian football team for the 2018 Asian Games because it was not ranked in the top 8 in Asia. India's ranking, when you have to look at even in Asia at this point, it is ranked 18 in the world. Now, the All India Football Federation at this point in time had planned that Igor Stimac, the head coach of the India football team, will take an under-23 squad and ensure that they get the ideal preparation ahead of the King's Cup that will be held in Thailand from September 7th. Now, what is the reason being given? Because the sports ministry, the Indian sports ministry had stated that the criteria of qualification for the Asian Games, top 8 sides in the continent. Now the IOA and the sports ministry in conjunction have said that India's football team, since they are not even in the top 8 and they are ranked 18 even in the Asian continent, they cannot head to the Asian Games. Basically, if you look at it in the Asian Games, under 23, that is the category under which football is played for. Not much of the senior team. Why is it that this time they cannot make it? Because India are not ranked in the top 8. Now, in response to this, the AIFF is planning to appeal this decision to the sports ministry. They are going to give a written appeal stating that we want to ensure that India participates in the Asian Games. Because remember, the Asian Games will serve as a good preparation for the King's Cup, and in the end, after the King's Cup, the AFC Asian Cup that will be held in January, February in Qatar. Now, the statement further states that a letter was sent to the IOA from the national sports federations that are there. The sports ministry stated, for team events, only those sports which have achieved a ranking of up to 8th among participating countries in Asia, they will be considered for participation. So it is very, very clear that the IOA, which sent the letter to all the sporting federations, that includes even the AIFF, participation is subject to the team finishing in the top 8. And since India's rank is not even 8, it is 18th in the continent of Asia, they are not eligible to participate in the Asian Games in 2018. So, the decision will have to be taken by the government. AIFF has also told in a statement to PTI that this is a decision taken by the government. We will have to abide by it. We will make an appeal to the government to reconsider the decision as far as football is concerned. So, it is going now, the state that is in AIFF will appeal to the sports ministry. After they appeal to the sports ministry, they will then ask the IOA to reconsider. But it looks more unlikely that India's participation when it comes to football in the Asian Games is not going to happen because of the rankings criteria. If anybody will ask why is it that India's football team is not participating in the Asian Games, they could not get the ranking criteria. 8 top teams in the Asian continent alone, they were eligible to participate in the Asian Games. Since India are ranked 18th, they may not be able to make it for the Asian Games. And it's a rather sad thing because remember, SAF Cup, Intercontinental Cup, SAF Cup they won a record 9th time, Intercontinental Cup they had won. They were one of the good teams heading into the King's Cup, but remember, under 23, that is the real problem at this point. And yes, it is a very weird criteria, like 8 teams. Why would you want to restrict the Asian Games, which is much more bigger and is on par than much more better than the Commonwealth? Why on earth would you want to restrict it to just 8 teams? But the Asian Games has its rules. the Olympic Council of Asia and the IOA all have their own criteria. This Sanskar Saxena is asking, is this the ministry criteria or the Asian Games criteria? Both. As I had mentioned, this is the statement which will answer your thing, Sanskar, because IOA and all the sporting federations, the sports ministry, this is the kind of the sports ministry we just said. Letters sent to IOA and NSF, the National Sporting Federations, sports ministry has said that for team events, only those sports which have achieved a ranking up to 8th among participating countries of Asia in the last 1 year should be considered for participation. So this is a sports ministry directive. Now, why has the sports ministry given that kind of a directive? And considering that Indian football is on an upswing, it's a really, really weird situation at this point. We'll have to go into much deeper details as to why this decision was taken. At this point, it's a sad news for Indian football fans that they will not see the youngsters perform well in the under-23 criteria in the Asian Games. One hopes that the sports ministry reconsiders the decision that the AIFF has asked. The AIFF has said that please reconsider the decision to help us get to Guangzhou. But if they do not adhere to that, then they will have to ensure that yes, for the second consecutive edition in the Asian Games, India's football team is absent. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so that when we go live, and don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Thank you.